Do you sometimes feel haunted by the memories of the past? Do you have emotional wounds still connected to past experience that keep coming up when you least expect them? When you're trying to put yourself out there, when you try to do certain things, that the memories from the past come up, the woundings, the past experience that you had, the negative experience that are then holding you back. And it's those past experiences, the emotional trauma that we experience that often play a big role in how much we put ourselves out there, what we do, what we don't do, the actions we take or not take, how we show up in the world, what we allow ourselves to really experience in life. It's those past negative experiences that play a very big role in our life. They can affect us negatively and also hold us back. And that's why it's so important that if you have experienced certain emotional trauma in your past, and quite honestly, we all have in certain degrees. It doesn't necessarily have to be immense trauma, but even the smaller emotional woundings, the disappointments, the heartbreaks, those also can negatively impact you in your life today. And that's why it's so important that you heal those emotional wounds, the past traumas, to really set yourself free from the negative hold they still have over you. And in this video, I want to share with you how shadow work is a powerful process that can help you with healing past trauma, and also how to best go about it, how to use shadow work for that deep inner healing, the healing of the trauma. Because if you don't heal the trauma, it keeps playing in the background. These emotional wounds, they're still there, whether you want to or not, whether you're aware of them or not, or even if you want to acknowledge them or not, they are there. Anytime you have experienced something that was not pleasant as you were growing up, even throughout adulthood, these experiences, they stay with you. If you ever heard the term, it made you who you are today, well, that's very much true. Because these past experiences, they made you who you are today. They taught you that, oh, it's not safe if you do certain things. So then you hold back. You play small. You don't put yourself out there. And that's why it's so important that you heal those emotional wounds, because they can also then show up when you least expect them. They're driving your actions and inactions. They're holding you back in so many different ways. And quite honestly, if you have still emotional wounds because of those past traumas, if there's anything that you've experienced throughout your life that when you're thinking about it still has somewhat of a negative punch to it, that you have that feeling like, oh, that still hurts, well, those are the things that require healing. And the way shadow work can help you is for what it helps you really uncover the triggers, what really triggers you. And it also helps you to uncover the deeper meaning behind it. You can uncover the message, the lesson, the gift. You can then release the emotional charge of the experiences to really set yourself free. So you don't have to keep carrying that with you. And yes, even though it happened a long time ago and you feel like you've already dealt with it, if you think about it and it still holds somewhat of a negative punch to it, that requires healing. That even though you think you have dealt with it already, you're over it, if it still holds that negative punch to it, or even just that irk kind of feeling, just a very subtle uncomfortable feeling, then there's still something there that requires your attention. And that's where shadow work comes into play. It can help you heal and clear what is coming up, what is still there. So let me share with you a simple process of how to use shadow work for that emotional healing, really healing the trauma. Now here I do want to mention is, when it comes to trauma, you want to go at it in a gentle way. You don't just want to dive right into the traumatic event, because that can be re-traumatizing. So you don't want to do that. So I just want to mention that right from the get-go. You do not want to jump right into it, because maybe you're also even kind of concerned, like, well, if I do this trauma work, am I going to be re-traumatized? If you're doing it in a gentle way and you're kind of easing into the discomfort, easing into the core traumatic feeling, then you should be okay. But you want to really go about this in a gentle, loving, compassionate way. That is very important. But this process I'm about to share with you is a gentle way of doing this healing where you don't re-traumatize yourself. So let me share with you the process of how to use shadow work for that trauma healing, that emotional wounds healing. So first and foremost, you want to prepare yourself and your space. Whenever you're ready to do this shadow work, you want to really prepare yourself. You want to have a notebook, a pen, maybe a candle, maybe play some nice meditation music. Really just get into this tranquil kind of state of mind, really the relaxed state of mind. Then you want to prepare yourself as well by setting the intention that, okay, now I'm going to do the shadow work. I'm going to be gentle with myself. I'm going to be compassionate with myself. I'm going to be loving with myself, not judging myself in any way, not being harsh, and really going about this in a gentle way. So you really want to set that stage that this is going to be deep in the work and you're going to be gentle with yourself. Then the second step is then you want to uncover any trauma that you want to work with. But here, like I said, you don't want to dive right into it. You want to ease into it. So here you can start out with, if you know that you've experienced some big trauma in your life, you can ease into that. Just kind of writing down any triggers. What do you remember about that? What are you still feeling about it? But really be gentle with yourself. Here, journaling can be quite beneficial to just put your thoughts on paper. So here, just basically write down anything that comes to mind, but be gentle with yourself. Now, if you don't have immense big trauma, then just uncover, well, what are some triggers that you're experiencing in your life? And here you can kind of think back, throughout your life. What are some things that really happened that when you're thinking back at it, that it still holds that negative punch to it? Here, like I said, journaling is a great way because you can just tune in and just write down anything that comes up. And here you really want to reflect on any triggers that you're experiencing and uncovering any emotions that are still attached to that. And here, if you're not quite sure what traumatic events from the past are still affecting you today, you can start by looking at your life right now. What areas in your life do you feel held back? This could be, let's say here, a good example is relationships. Let's say you want to find a loving partner, but it's been really challenging for you because for one, you keep attracting the wrong kind of people, or you're having a hard time even finding someone, or when you are with someone, the relationships are often quite challenging. Whatever it is, this is a good indicator that there is most likely some past trauma that is holding you back. Because think back at your very first heartbreak. When you first got into the relationship, you were probably like, oh my God, this is so wonderful. And you were excited about it. And you had no negative feelings about being in a relationship, right? But then you're in that relationship and then all of a sudden things are starting to happen where you're feeling not okay. Whether it's your partner lied to you, cheated on you, treated you badly, or broke your heart because they broke up with you. All of those things, they were kind of traumatic events to you, to your younger self, right? Because your younger self never experienced all that hurt. And then all of a sudden you're getting your heart crushed. That caused you then to adapt certain shadow aspects of, ooh, I gotta be careful whenever I'm trying to date someone because they might hurt me again. Right? So you can use what you're experiencing in your life right now as the tool to help you uncover of what traumatic events have happened in the past that are connected to what you're experiencing right now. So that's a good starting point as well. And just uncover those triggers. What are those triggers? What are those emotions that you're feeling about these traumatic events? But like I said, really be gentle with yourself here. Then the third step is you want to go a little bit deeper. What is at the core of things? What are the root emotions that are still there? The woundings that are still there? What is at the core of things? And here also be gentle with yourself. But you want to uncover, well, how did those things make you feel? It could have made you feel unlovable, rejected, not good enough, whatever it is. You want to really uncover, well, what's at the root of things? Because here I want you to know is that the story of what happened, how it happened, never matters, right? What matters is what's at the core of things, and that's the emotional triggers, the emotional charge behind things. So when you uncover, well, what's at the root of things, when you really dig a little deeper, but here also be gentle, especially if it was something very traumatic. You want to be very gentle with yourself about what you're uncovering. But then just write down whatever you can uncover about really going deeper. What's at the root of things? What's really at the core of things? The triggers, the feelings, the pain. Just connect with that. Then the fourth step is you can also start working with your inner child, your younger self. The self of you at that age that you experienced that traumatic event. What you can do is you can just tune in and you can call forth your younger self at whatever age you experience that trauma. Invite it in and make that connection, because your younger self is still part of you. It's within you, right? So you can call forth your younger self and then connect with your younger self and ask questions. Well, what do you want me to know about this? What are you feeling about this? What do you need? Just have that conversation with your younger self to really find out, well, what does your younger self feel about this? Because you as the adult, you have a different kind of mindset. You're looking at what happened from more of an adult point of view, right? But that younger you, that younger self of you didn't have that understanding that you have now. So the younger self is what's deeply hurt, what is deeply upset and wounded. So by you having a conversation with your younger self, your inner child self, you can find out, well, what does your younger self feel about this? What does your younger self want you to know about this? And here, be very understanding and supportive. Think of it like when you're talking to your younger self. Like, think of it like you're talking to a good friend of yours. This good friend of yours is having problems and you're here to support your friend. It's the same thing. So be very supportive and understanding of your younger self. But get that information of what does your younger self need in the moment? What does your younger self feel about what happened? Then when you have that understanding of what you're feeling, what your younger self is feeling, then you want to go into the healing. You want to start healing the emotional charge about whatever happened. So here what you want to do is you want to connect with the emotions. Now here, not diving deep into the story, because the story is what then re-traumatizes you, but connecting with the emotion. Let's say the emotion is, I don't feel loved. You connect with that. You allow yourself to really put your focus on that, your attention on that. And then you can use Ho'oponopono, it's an Hawaiian mantra, to start healing and clearing the emotional charge. Because it's not about rewriting the story or forgetting about it or, forgiving or forgetting. It's none of that. It's you want to release the negative charge about this, whatever you're feeling. So if the core feeling is, I don't feel lovable, I don't feel loved, or I feel rejected, whatever it is, right? You want to then connect with that. Not the story, just whatever that feeling is. And then as you're connected to that, then in your mind or out loud, you can repeat the Hawaiian mantra. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And you just repeat that until you feel that shift. And here you want to be intentional about that, really intending with each word that you speak, you're releasing the negative charge, really intending to dissolve the emotional charge, dissolving it into nothing is where it came from. And repeat that with all the emotions that you uncovered until you feel the release. And then the sixth step is, then you want to uncover the gift. Once you start healing and clearing, releasing the negative charge and the tenseness lessens, then you are at the point where you can then ask, well, what is the message, the lesson, the gift of whatever I experienced? Because every negative experience, every trauma, it holds a message, a lesson, a gift. And when you start clearing the negative charge around it, you're basically revealing the gift. And by you then asking, okay, what is the gift here? What am I meant to learn from this? You want to then take that. Because that's very important. You want to uncover the gift, because that's how you then integrate the shadow. It's about healing and releasing the negative charge and then taking the gift and integrating the gift. And I'll talk more about it here in a moment. But once you really feel like, okay, then the tenseness has lessened, then you want to ask the question, well, what is the message, the lesson, and the gift? And you want to really be open to receiving the message, the lesson, and the gift. Acknowledge it, accept it, welcome it in. Then the seventh step is, once you've gotten the gift, then you want to clear and release yourself from what happened. And here you can use a clearing statement. And it goes like this. You're connecting to what happened, to the emotional charge. And you basically state, I now clear and transmute this across all time, space, reality, lifetimes, and dimensions. Dissolving it into nothingness where it came from. You can repeat that a couple of times as well to dissolve that shadow aspect, to release yourself from the hold it had on you. Then the eighth and final step is, and here this is then the integration part is, you've done the healing, you've uncovered the gift, you want to integrate the gift by then taking different actions. The gift is basically what will help you to move forward. So you're integrating that by then tuning in, like, okay, now this is the gift. What can I do with this? How can I make different decisions now? How can I act differently that is in alignment with that gift that I've gotten out of this deep inner healing work, this deep shadow work? Because each shadow has a gift, and you transcend the gift by really integrating and embodying the gift after you've done the healing. But this is the process of how you go about using shadow work for deep trauma work. Now here, like I said, this is quite a gentle process. Now it still can trigger you, but here, like I said, it's about really being gentle with yourself and to not dive into the story of things, but really connecting just with the emotions behind, because the story will re-traumatize you. When you're just connecting with the emotion of what happened and you're uncovering that with an open mind, an open heart, and really gentle, going about it in a gentle way, it should not re-traumatize you. But if you have really some intense trauma, you may actually want to get some help, to really get the help to someone that can guide you in doing this work, where you really don't have to necessarily dive into it yourself, but you have that support to make this easy. And here I want to invite you to consider joining my membership Transcendence to receive that support to help you really heal and clear these things. Or if you rather have more one-on-one support, you can also consider signing up for a transformational healing session. Both links are in the description below if you would like my support in helping you heal any trauma that you've experienced. But I really hope that you enjoyed this video, that it gave you the insights and also the framework of how to use shadow work for trauma healing, that deep inner emotional healing, so you can really set yourself free from all these things that are still holding you back and negatively impacting you in your life today. So thanks so much for watching. Also be sure to check out these two videos here. One is a light language activation to release any stuck energy, and then also another video about why shadow work is really important to emotional healing. So thanks so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, make an amazingly abundant and joyful day. Namaste.